Hi, my name is Mitch Ziegler, and we have a wonderful, very fit assistant here, Craig, who's going to demonstrate some abdominal training. It's a little different than the abdominal training maybe you've experienced in the past, because we're really going to isolate the rectus muscle. We're going to really isolate the external oblique muscles, okay? The rectus muscle is the muscle that runs in a vertical fashion right here, and it's that six-pack that you see, okay? And then the external obliques are these muscles that come in from the side. So all those models that hit the pose like this, and you see all these wonderful muscles coming in the side, that's your external obliques. Your external obliques are designed to help you do rotational movement, and your rectus is designed to help you kind of lift your body up from the ground, and we're going to demonstrate a little bit of that right now, okay? So this training that we're going to do today, actually I'm not going to do it. We've asked Craig to do it because and what we're going to do is we're going to really focus on shutting off the hip flexor muscles. And when we shut off the hip flexor muscles, then the only muscle that can lift his shoulders up off the ground is going to be the rectus or the external obliques, okay? A lot of times you see exercises or sit-ups where you hook your feet underneath like a couch or underneath a machine. What you're actually doing is you're actually having the hip flexors do a lot of the work, and that's what we don't want, okay? Or when you're seeing people when they're lifting their legs off the ground and they're doing V-ups and they're doing bicycles and they're doing all that, what they're really working is they're working a lot of hip flexors, unless they're very, very specifically designed to work the transversus muscle at the same time they're doing that, which a lot of Pilates people know how to do this, but it's very hard training. It's different. You need to know how to focus. You need to know how to work your muscles when you're doing all that activity that requires you to flex your hips, okay? So the big thing, we're shutting off the hip flexors, we're acting the rectus to do all the work and the external obliques to do all the work, okay? So, you ready, Craig? Okay, go ahead and bend your knees up. The first thing you're gonna do, if you're gonna do it just laying flat, which you can do it with your feet up on a chair, but we're gonna demonstrate it with just laying flat on the floor. First thing I'm gonna have him do is I'm gonna have him bend his ankles up like this, and I'm gonna have him take his heels and he's gonna push his heels. He's gonna dig them into the ground. When he digs them into the ground, he's activating the hamstring muscles, okay? When you activate a muscle, the hamstring muscle, what it does is it's gonna reciprocally inhibit the hip flexor muscles. It's kind of like if I flex my bicep, my triceps have to relax in order for them to flex and to bend the elbow. So when you ask the hamstring to work, they're gonna reciprocally inhibit the hip flexor muscles, okay? So by digging his elbows, no, these are heels. Digging his heels in, this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna shut off these hip flexors. That's the key. So if you're doing any of these sit-ups or anything and the heels come up, then you know the hip flexors are active, and that's not what we want. So in this video, we're really gonna pay close attention to his heels and make sure they do not come up, okay? So watch in the video, watch and see if he does this, okay? It'll be a challenge. So the first exercise, there's going to be 3 progressions to the crunch movement we're going to do here to work the rectus. The first is he's just going to dig his heels in, and then he's going to take his hands and he's going to put his hands right on top of his knees. So go ahead and just come up, heels are dug in, he's going to put his hands top of the knees and relax down. This is the first progression. This is not easy, but this is the easiest exercise so far for the crunch. So go ahead and demonstrate that again. Go ahead and come up, and good. And if you notice, he's doing a great job with his neck, because a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll stick their chin up towards the ceiling. So if you can go ahead and put your hands on your knees and just kind of show this upward movement of your chin, kind of like this fashion. So we don't want any distance for the chin from the sternum. We want the chin to stay fairly close to the sternum the whole time. We want to activate the cervical flexors at the same time we're doing this, okay? So go ahead and do that a couple more times. The hands just come right up on top of the knees, rectus is activated, and then he relaxes down and the chin stays in towards the sternum. Perfect. And relax down. Great. And if you want to make this even more correct or even a little bit more challenging and to develop a flatter stomach, Craig, I want you to pull your stomach in as far as you can. Now keep that transversus muscle contracted, and now go ahead and do the sit-up of putting your hands on top of your knees. Go ahead and try to do that. So he's trying to keep himself thin while he does the exercise, and go ahead and lay down. This is really hard to do, but this really trains your stomach to be flat and also works the rectus at the same time. So stage 2, he puts his arms across. Now what we've done is increase the lever. We've made the lever a little bit longer, and what he still wants to do is dig those ankles in, or dig those heels in, and hopefully you're watching and making sure that he keeps the heels down. Now what he's going to do, you don't have to worry about the transverse, just that might be a little crazy for you right now. So now what he's going to do is dig the heels in, and now go ahead and lift your shoulder blades up off the ground, and then come on, go ahead and come back down. So this is stage 2 of the exercise. So this is a little bit more advanced. Okay, so do a couple more so we can really get an idea. You want to see your face turn nice and red with all this, so keep those heels dug in. Perfect. He's doing a great job. Chin staying tucked in. It's perfect. Okay, and rest down. Now lastly, I'm going to have him, the next progression, which is progression number 3, I'm going to have him take his fingers and just grab his ears. When you grab your ears, you're not going to pull real hard because that doesn't feel too comfortable on your ears. If you have your hands behind your head, a lot of times people will really yank to try to make that sit up, especially the last few, and they'll put a lot of strain on their cervical spine. So by holding onto the ears, less likely to do that. So everything's the same as what we just showed, but we're increasing the lever arm even further. We're putting more weight out towards his head, which makes the rectus work even harder. Okay, so go ahead and dig those heels in. And go ahead and lift your shoulder blades right off the floor, and go ahead and come down and just go straight up, just straight up. So come up off the floor. Perfect. Okay, perfect. So that's exactly what we want to do here. And again, the reps, we want to train high reps for all this, so maybe 3 sets of 20. And if you can only do it with your hands coming up on top of your knees, just do it that for a while until you get stronger, and then slowly progress into the other ones. So that works just the rectus muscle. Now we're going to show you the transverse abdominis muscle. I'm sorry, we're not the transverse, we're going to show you the external oblique. So Craig, cross your arms in front. And now what I'm going to have him do here is I'm just going to have him take his right shoulder, and I'm going to have him bring his right shoulder right up towards his knee, towards his left knee. So he's going to come on a diagonal fashion like this, and then he's going to come back. Now what that's going to work is that's going to contract the external obliques that are on the side here. So heels stay dug in, hamstrings are activated, hip flexors are not working, and he comes on a diagonal across his body like this. Come back, good. Do a couple more like that just so we can, and the chin stays tucked in. He's bringing that shoulder on the diagonal, getting the external obliques to work. Perfect. Okay, so, and you can do this not just with your arms crossed, you can also do it with just one arm at a time. So, Craig, go ahead and take this hand right here and just reach across and put it on this knee right over here. So, this is another way. This is the stage 1 where you can work your external obliques by doing this. And you can also do it with your hands behind your ears. Go ahead and grab onto your ears. And then this elbow is going to come right up towards this knee. And this is the more advanced technique to work the external obliques. And good. And just rest, Craig. That's good. This is a good workout for you right there. Okay, good. So a couple of really important things. Digging the heels in. That shuts off the hip flexors. Then the only muscle that's going to work is going to be the rectus. That's what we're after here. 3 different stages. Just place the hands on the knees, cross the arms in front, lift your shoulder blades up, or put your hands behind your ears, lift your shoulder blades up. That's the progression. You figure out which one you can do effectively, keeping your heels dug in. If your heels pop up and you can't keep your heels down, then you have to go to the next progression down. Okay? So again, about 3 sets, 20 reps, that's a good start. You can expand that out, make it longer if you like, but this is a great start to working your rectus and transverse, or working your rectus and your external obliques. I hope this helped. I hope this clarified a few things about working your abdominal muscles, and I hope it's helpful, and thank you very much for watching my video.